Just having a little bit of a lunch here and killing some time. So we got 20 minutes to kill. We got thinking about some stuff that's been going on lately. Time for a video rant. You know, we haven't done that in a while. Made videos, but I haven't had anything substantial, you know, that I've thought out. Not that I really think out these things first anyway before I do them, but whatever. They're not scripted. But yesterday, Super Bowl Sunday, about an hour before Super Bowl Sunday of all times, to have a domestic problem. I had the significant other, and I decided that, well, I decided it was time to part ways because I'd had enough. The proverbial straw broke the camel's back. And I'm not really going to go so much into that. I'm going to tell the story, but it isn't really about that as far as venting a domestic whatever. I wouldn't normally do a video on something like that anyway, because those arguments are those arguments. But in light of the fact that we have parted company and I'm not going to have anything to do with her anymore anyway, I don't feel really all that guilty about saying anything in a video. But I kind of have to tell the story to explain this problem that I have with people in general. Not so much just her, but she's the catalyst for a line of thinking that I've had lately anyway that makes for a good rant. So here we go. This has to do with people doing two things. One, not taking advice from you when they ask it, or not valuing that advice or opinion, and almost throwing it in your face. And it dovetails with people, in this case, her doing that, and I'll tell the story, but her doing that and then not realizing the consequence of it, or what would happen if you did that. And it kind of goes into people not thinking about the repercussions of what they do. That, you know, these fights that you have with spouses or whatever, or the fact that people don't see ahead that when you kick the dog it might bite you, and then they're all aghast and shocked when something comes back on them based on something they did. And I think that's one of the reasons I kind of have a problem with liberals. Why they grate me so bad is because their solutions and their ideas tend to be knee-jerk solutions and emotional in nature without forethought about what the consequences of the actions that they want to take are long-term. They think one step ahead when 4 steps down the road it could be disastrous. And that's why I think I have a problem with them. And this kind of goes together with that. And I've been thinking about that a lot lately, how people could be so ignorant that they don't understand that if you do X, Y, then Z is going to be catastrophic in the end, or Z is going to come back to bite you in the ass. You know, they can't see that. Like there's no looking into the future, or there's no looking at, you know, if you touch the hot stove, you're going to get burned. It's just kind of like, oh, we'll just do that, and they just touch it. And then later on, they're all tweaked about what happened. So this is what happened to me yesterday. Yesterday, the girlfriend she's been doing some remodeling. I call her a girlfriend. She's a whatever, but I'll use the term. The girlfriend was working on a project where she was doing some home remodeling stuff, basic in nature, just fixing some holes in the walls, doing some painting, stuff like that. And she was learning about it, and I stayed clear of it. You know, she was looking on the internet and learning things. It's all well and good. I think that's cool. You know, I don't have an issue with that. I like people that are go-getters that try to do things on their own. And so she was doing this, and she wanted to hang a coat rack, but she had the idea that she wanted to mount a 2x4 against the wall, stain it, and put a lot of coat hooks in it, and, you know, in the mudroom that she has. And it doesn't take the Army Corps of Engineers to do that. That's basic carpentry 101, but she wasn't familiar with it, totally, you know, oblivious. And we're at the Home Depot, and she wanted to get a few things, and she wanted to get something to fasten the 2x4 that she had to the wall. Well, to me, if I was going to do it at my house, I'd just go out in the garage and grab a few nails or grab some screws, whatever seemed long enough, pluck them in, and be done with it. And my analogy to that is, it's putting up a coat rack to somebody like me who has experience with building, and I've helped build homes, roofing, built my basement bar, I've built video games, I've built decks, built storage buildings, I mean, whatever. Remodeled my garage, added an office in it, done sheetrock, on and on. Asking me to put up a coat rack is like asking a chef how to make brownies, you know. You crack the egg, you pour the water, you pour the packet, you mix it all up and throw it in the pan. It's rudimentary mindlessness, you know. So it would be like asking a chef how to do it, and then when the chef told you, you know, just mix it all up, that's good enough, that will work, it's fine, no, really, trust me, and then you went, nah, geez, I don't know, well, I'll call my mom too just to make sure, because she makes brownies too. It's insulting. It's degrading. It hurts pride. It's basically something worth being angry over when you're asked advice on something that you know a lot about, and this person knows that you have a lot of experience, and they still don't value that advice, and then you get angry. There shouldn't be any surprise to that, but that's exactly what happened. We were in Home Depot. She asked some advice how to do it. I told her the size of a screw I'd use, or a nail, or whatever. It's not a big deal. It's a coat rack. She thought, well, maybe they should be a little bit longer. I said, you can go longer if you'd like. That's fine. Whatever helps you sleep at night. If you think a half-inch longer nail is a better thing, you know, if it makes you feel good, do it, because it really doesn't matter. And so that's what happened. I gave her my advice, told her whatever. She didn't really believe that. Nah, this doesn't seem right. She went and got the orange smocks, and two schmoes came over with their tape measures and started measuring screws and stuff, and it went on and on for about 15 minutes. And then when she was done with them, she got a different screw that was a half-inch different length, and then came over and then said, well, how many do you think I should need? And I said, I'm obviously no expert. Why don't you ask them? And she was taken back by that. Where did that come from? And like, it wasn't so much what she had just done that made me that angry. What made me angry was the fact that she was so stupid to think that what she had just done would not anger me, or would not insult me. And that right there just spoke volumes to me that, you know, that's not a person that down the road I'm going to be able to function and deal with. Because if you can't glaringly see that you are insulting someone by doing that, especially right to their face when you kind of are like, I don't know, well, wait a minute, let me go get these guys and see what they say. When you do that, and do it right in front of my face while I'm standing there watching these two idiots tell her how big of a screw she needs to put into a coat rack, when you just asked somebody that builds tons of shit and you rejected their advice, that was the big what the fuck moment. And I know it dovetails with what other people have tweaked me on, and I see this, and it's so rant worthy, because it makes me think that the world is just there's a lot of chimps out there that just they just don't get it. They just do not understand when they do something like that there could be any repercussion. It's just like, oh, but it's all good, and they don't take into consideration the feelings that could happen if you do something like that, or, you know, that ignorance of human nature that people could come back and, I mean, it's beyond me. And I can't be around people that are like that. And I can't be around them when they're like that politically. I can't be around them in relationships like that. And the yucky has to go. So anyway, that was my Super Bowl Sunday. And so I just was like, no, we have to part company. I just whatever. And that was it. But think ahead, I guess. I mean, for you people out there that just don't have a brain about you know, there's people that I've had recent dealings with that I called them out for being two-faced and whatever, and they just totally act like, oh my God, you know, what an asshole he is for that. And it's like, you didn't realize what the repercussions of that would be. Like you didn't realize that, you know, if someone found out about that, they're going to be angry, and justly so. I mean, that I have such an issue with people. But anyway, there's your rant. I'm sure you've been there too. If you think differently of it, let me know. If you think I'm overreacting, I'd love to hear it. I'd like to really know how I did incorrect math. But anyway, back to lunch. Have fun.